Hi, this is Lorna Kennedy and welcome to Sit Happens Dog Training. This is a training video about nail care. It is in two parts and both are relatively long because it does take a while to introduce carefully. So most people are familiar with clippers. Here are a couple of examples of clippers, but there are a couple of other options. You've got nail files. The best ones to use are the ones that are available for acrylic nails because they don't wear down so quickly and you can throw them away. Another option is a nail grinder, and in this video I'm going to show you how I carefully introduced a nail grinder to my dog. Inside your dog's nails there is a bundle of blood vessels and nerves called the quick. If you cut the quick, it can hurt the dog and it can bleed quite a lot, and they may not allow you near their nails again. So it is a little bit more dangerous when you use the clippers, particularly if your dog has dark nails. Nail files are a safer option because you can't actually cut your dog with your nail file. Once you start filing down to a certain point, it will hit the nerve and your dog will probably pull his paw away and won't allow you to go any further. But some dogs don't like the filing motion. So another option is the grinder. This is similar, but because it's a little bit faster, sometimes a dog can be more tolerant of it. It depends on the dog. My dog doesn't like the nail files, so I'm going to show how I introduce a grinder. Another advantage of using a nail file or grinder is that with regular filing, you can actually reduce the length of the quick. If you don't file or trim your dog's nails regularly, the quick can continue to grow and extend, and when you do decide to cut them, you may not be able to take that much off because it is much longer than it was originally. So the first stage of conditioning the nail grinder is actually just to make a nice association with the mat or a blanket. So I bought a new blanket, and in the next clip I'm going to show you how I introduce it to my dog. I'm going to pop it on the ground, and when he lies down in it, or just when he stands in it, I'm just going to give him a treat on the blanket, from the blanket. So I'm going to continue to give him treats from the blanket. I'm going to give little breaks in between. I'm going to even take him off the blanket or the mat and put it back down, encourage him to go back onto it. And I'm just going to keep on stressing this point that this place is a really nice place to be. You get lots of treats when you're on this blanket, and then when it goes away, there's no more treats. I'm going to feed him his dinner like this for the next few sessions. I'll do this for a couple of days so that whenever he sees this blanket, he's going to think nice things happen.
Oh, well done. Good boy. Way, you super little baby. Like that? Oh, very good.
So I'm just going to do this for quite a while. I'm going to feed him all of his food this way, just turning on the grinder and then giving him his food. By doing this really slowly, I can ensure that he will not just accept the sound of the grinder, but he will actually start to like it. So now you can see he's anticipating the food. When I turn it off, he's like, "Where's my food?" And I'm going to continue to do this. Slower is better in this situation because it builds a really, really solid foundation. And now we see a wagging tail, which shows me that he's not just accepting the grinder, but he's happily anticipating the food. And I will continue to do this for several sessions. The next stage is to establish consent indication. This means I want to have a way for him to signal when he's ready. So I'm going to ask for a paw. I'm going to mark when he gives it to me, and then I'm going to give him a treat. And I'm going to repeat this. So in this case, I'm just using the visual cue of my hand being there. It's all very patient, all very quiet. I'm not stressing him. I'm not accepting the other paw because I don't want him to just offer me any paw. I want it to be the paw that's closest. I will sit the other side for doing the other paw. And after a while, I'm just going to leave my hand sitting there so that he can indicate when he's ready, rather than me requesting his paw in order to do it. He can just say, okay, now I'm ready. When he's instigating contact, I'm going to add a little bit of duration. That means I'm just going to hold it for a bit longer before marking. And then I'm going to add a little bit of nail touching as well. I just want to do very short touches at the beginning, just so that we can get lots and lots of reps, because the more reps we get, the more he understands the process. Just trying to change the cue to him putting his paw on my knee rather than his paw on my hand, because when I am grinding, I'm probably going to need to use both hands. So it would be better if his indication for readiness is independent of my hands. So I'm just gently tipping each nail, and then I'm giving him some food. I'm gently tipping each nail and just giving him some food. You can see he's not taking his paw away. He's quite comfortable with this. And he's no longer looking at what I'm doing because he's very, very comfortable with it all. He doesn't need to look at my hands. So if he takes his paw away, that's no problem. That he's allowed to do that. It's about consent. He just doesn't get any treats. So I'm just going to wait for him to self-correct. And what I mean is I want him to put his paw back. He's trying to figure out what he should do now in order to get the treats. He doesn't fully understand, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him the cue again. So then I continue to touch all his nails again, giving him treats each time, just getting him really understanding that if he keeps his paw there, he'll get treats. If he takes them away, it's no biggie, but he just doesn't get any treats. After a little while, I'm going to release him by saying the word free. He understands that means there'll be no treats coming. If your dog doesn't have a release cue, you need to train that separately. So he's actually laid down again, and he's giving me lots of behaviors because he wants to continue. And I'm releasing him, but he's saying, nope, I want to continue with this game. I don't want to break. So as you can see, he's throwing me a lot of behaviors here. He's even going to offer me his paw now. And this is really good. I'm getting a lot more engagement, and it's a way for me to know that he wants to participate. He really wants to play this game in order to get the rewards. So I'm just going to continue to touch all the nails, and occasionally I'll squeeze them too, so he understands that feeling. I'm going to give rewards each time and regularly release. It's very important to know that your dog is actually paying attention to what you're doing. If they're just eating, you may be touching their paws without realizing that they're not even noticing you. So you might be best to wait for them to finish eating before you touch and then reward. In my case, I can feel it because I can feel the tension and know that he knows that it's happening. access to water is important because he's thinking and he needs a drink sometimes. His cross paws is not an accident. It's a way for him to tell me he wasn't ready. And then he was. So I'll just slowly continue to touch all the paws, giving him lots and lots of success. I want him to succeed about 80 to 90% of the time, so he really enjoys the game. And I do want to occasionally hold the paws for too long so that he knows how he can ask me to stop.